A significant snowstorm is expected in a few days, next Sunday and Monday, set to bring widespread impacts across a large portion of the country. We could see many inches of snow, potentially half a foot to a foot, widespread ice concerns, and even a decently strong severe weather risk on the south side of our storm. In addition, our colder weather pattern is setting in next week with a big dip and troughing in the jet stream, and a prolonged period of cold temperatures is expected for much of the central and eastern parts of the country. Buckle up, y'all, because we're in for an active stretch of weather. I'm Isaiah. Today is January 3rd, 2025, and let's dive in. First off, Happy New Year. I'm glad we're starting fresh off in 2025, and we're going to dive right into the weather because after a very busy severe weather and tornado event to end 2024, we're flipping the switch right into a snow and ice event with this next winter storm. Here it is. This is all the energy that makes up the next storm, this trough of low pressure that's rapidly moving through the Pacific and headed onshore to the western US. This next storm is going to get its act together over the next few days. It will intensify and strengthen as it approaches the central and eastern parts of the country. So here's the weather pattern going forward. We can see the jet stream, and this is our storm, this little divot here, and you can see it clearly moving eastward throughout the next few days. The impact will be Saturday into Sunday. That's when, as you can see here, the storm will be moving into the central plains, eastward into the heart of the country. And notice how the storm is strengthening also. We see these colder colors here, this more circular pattern. This is a strengthening area of low pressure. Down at the surface, we start seeing a surface low develop. We start seeing a cold front and a warm front associated with the system, and then boom, just like that, we have a big time winter storm on our hands. All the ingredients are there basically for significant snow and potential ice as the storm slides east. Winter storm watches are out from northeastern Kansas all the way to Indiana and Kentucky in these light blue boxes here, and you can bet that these will become winter storm warnings in the coming days. This here is certainly the areas that can expect the worst of the impacts and the conditions, with concerns of not only heavy snow but also significant ice and freezing rain. So pay attention, cities like Kansas City, St. Louis, Louisville, Kentucky, and even out towards Columbus, Ohio, because we have some big time impacts coming your way. Let's run through the models to get some visuals, and we'll take a look on the timing of this as well. So let's use a NAM model here. This is a medium range model that we're going to use. Keep in mind, it's not a perfect forecast, but it'll give us a good idea of what to expect as well as on the timing. We're closing in on 48 to 72 hours to the event, so the models are aligning better on the timing and positioning, but there's still a lot to work out in our forecast, which I'll get into in a minute. We're starting out here on the day Friday, and it's going to be mostly quiet. We have a few snow showers possible in the northern plains, but definitely not a surefire. For today, for Friday, we'll have nothing widespread. It'll be very isolated and not that impactful. Saturday, this is when the storm starts entering the plains, and we start getting more action going as our storm starts to organize. This model starts bringing in moisture and scattered showers pretty early on Saturday. There is some uncertainty as to how early the onset of this will be, but the trend will be as the day progresses throughout Saturday, more and more scattered showers and rain will be developing all across the plains. Notice the snow showers from the Dakotas to Kansas, but then notice these purples and pinks. This is some sleet and freezing rain, so that has ice potential. So watch out, in Kansas, your threat actually starts during the day Saturday with the freezing precipitation possible. As we head into the evening, notice how much our storm intensifies and how quickly conditions deteriorate. By evening, it's no longer just light snow. We're seeing this widespread heavier snow showers develop along with a freezing rain threat. The storm arrives for Kansas City as we get into Saturday evening, and then throughout Missouri and eventually into the St. Louis area as we head closer to midnight. Heavy snow then develops on the backside into Kansas, extending further north, but notice the pinks and the purples remaining overnight. So we are going to have a corridor of ice here, possibly significant ice, and this will be the trickiest thing to nail down, but could potentially bring crippling impacts. Sunday morning, look at this. We're waking up to some very heavy snow exiting Kansas in these dark blue colors here, and some gusty winds will create some low visibility and near blizzard-like conditions. So it's going to be a very rough travel morning and all across this area. Notice the snow creeping into Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. In the middle here, this is just where we get this big mess of mixed precipitation. Places from central Missouri, like St. Louis, into southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and much of Kentucky. This is where we have a serious concern for ice throughout the day on Sunday. The snow will be moving east throughout the day, and on the backside, we'll have some places that start from rain, switch over to freezing rain, switch over to snow. So a lot of changing precipitation types, especially here in the middle. Down south, we'll talk more about this in a minute, but notice these showers and storms. As I mentioned earlier, believe it or not, we have a pretty significant severe weather component with this threat. So this is a squall line down here that could be bringing some severe storms down to the deep south. By Sunday evening, the model suggests snow exiting Kansas and Missouri, but lingering as the low pressure moves through Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky, and precipitation starts from Ohio to the Virginia, so more heavy snow on tap for there. Sunday will definitely be the worst day of the impacts, but as we get into Monday morning, which is at the end of the range of this model, notice that we still got some snow going, more so now for the interior northeast and part of the mid-Atlantic, and we still have a freezing rain threat here. Places from West Virginia into Kentucky and into Maryland Maryland. That's where our next concern is, with snow to the north on the backside. But overall though, our storm will be weakening past Sunday, so any really heavy precipitation concerns start to die down. The National Weather Service releases what they call the Winter Storm Severity Index, and this is basically a product that tells us how impactful a winter storm will be to your daily life. So in this area here, this is for Sunday, 3 days out from today. You notice this huge area of orange to red impact. This is moderate to major impacts to daily life. The National Weather Service says to expect considerable disruptions to daily life, so this means dangerous or even impossible driving conditions, and widespread closures and disruptions to infrastructure may occur, especially in these red areas. So yeah, this is gonna be a pretty big deal, and many of us will definitely want to just stay inside throughout the day on Sunday, especially on the south side here, especially southern Missouri into Kentucky, parts of southern Illinois and Indiana. That's where we're most concerned for the freezing rain threat with this, and this could bring some very serious impacts. Someone in here could get half an inch or more of ice, and this definitely will cause power outages, bring down some tree limbs, potentially long-lasting power outages. So as some colder air filters in behind this, we want to make sure that everyone is able to stay warm. So to sum it up, here's my official forecast on the timing and areas of worst impact. Let's start off with tracking the timing. So on Saturday, anyone in this light blue area here, this is where we can start seeing our impacts of scattered showers, few wintry mix showers down in parts of Kansas, some more rain in Oklahoma, but this is not the widespread stuff. Saturday night, this is when the storm starts to intensify, more heavy snow starts to develop, especially across Kansas, and then we're moving further east into Missouri. And then Sunday, all these areas in purple here, Illinois, Indiana, places like Columbus, Cincinnati, St. Louis, it'll be a very messy day for travel, so definitely encourage to stay indoors throughout the day, and this is definitely the zone of worst impact. Precipitation type, what can you expect in what areas in terms of ice versus snow? Well, anyone in this light blue shading here does have a pretty good chance of seeing impactful wintry precipitation of some type. Doesn't mean you'll see 6 inches plus of snow, but you could definitely see travel problems, and you'll definitely want to be keeping a close eye on this storm. Now in the blue area here, this is where the heavy snow potential is greatest. This is where we're more confident that we could see potentially 6 inches plus, maybe even up to 12 inches in some spots. Still really hard to nail down exactly where, but anyone in this zone definitely needs to be paying very close attention and start taking precautions in place for this on Sunday. And then this pink area down south, this is the trickiest part. This is where the significant ice is expected. If you're in this corridor, travel will become very slippery and very treacherous on Sunday, and we also need to watch out for power outages and tree limbs falling. Now notice in between the heavy snow and the significant ice, this is a zone of uncertainty, because any small adjustments north or south with our overall parent storm system could mean big differences in terms of if you're getting snow, ice, or even a mixture of both. So places like St. Louis, Cincinnati, y'all will kind of be on the line. Keep staying tuned to the weather in the coming days, because there could still be a lot of change in the forecast here. But in general, this is what you can expect in terms of precipitation type with this next winter storm. And I did mention we even have a severe weather risk with this. The Storm Prediction Center for some time now has been monitoring the risk of severe weather in the deep south on the south side of this storm. So let's look at their day 3 outlook. This is for Sunday, and notice we have a slight risk, a 2 out of 5 threat in these areas in yellow, all of Louisiana, southeast Arkansas into majority of Mississippi, and extending into far eastern Texas. Notice switching over to the model, we have a pretty robust line of storms expected, forming during the day on Sunday over Texas, and then quickly strengthening as it advances east through Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi. This looks like a pretty big damaging wind event to me, so if this line ends up this strong, we could see another wide swath of wind damage. Out ahead of the line, a few tornadoes are possible and any discrete cells that could develop, and embedded in the line, we could also see spin up QLCS tornadoes and quick circulations. Even as we head into the overnight, notice that our storms continue, so we're developing a nocturnal threat of tornadoes and wind damage moving into Alabama and Tennessee, especially as we approach midnight, and any severe weather concerns here are obviously increased during the night if people are caught unawares in bed. So stay tuned across this region in the deep south on Sunday for the severe weather potential, and then notice as we head further into Monday, as the line and storm system continues east, our storms will be quickly weakening. Severe weather concerns will be decreasing. And man, that's a lot to go through, but this will be a multi-threat and impactful storm for a large portion of the country, so hopefully this video proved helpful in signaling out specifically what threats will impact where you are. Once again, the hardest part of the forecast right now is that ice and specifying where exactly the rain, the ice, and the snow line will set up. And again, just a few miles shift can have a big impact on where the half of inch of crippling ice will be versus a half a foot of crippling snow. So either way, the best thing to do is just plan on sitting this one inside for Sunday and Monday. Shower travel will be very hazardous, so just get what you need before this snowstorm and then just wait it out indoors. That's the best thing we can do to keep safe. Even beyond this winter storm, we'll have additional waves of cold as our colder January pattern that we've been talking about settles in, and a few more winter storms are possible with any low pressure that gets to take advantage of this cold air. So we won't go into any details on any future storms, but just know the weather will definitely remain quite active past this as we go further into January. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm hoping to have an update video for all the last minute details, tracking the high resolution models on this storm tomorrow. Hopefully we can get out some more specific snowfall and ice accumulation totals as well, so keep watch for that. I hope everyone stays safe out there ahead of this coming storm. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you in the next one.